Thanks, but no thanks. In an epic tug of war over privacy rights, the FBI says it's been able to hack into the iPhone used by one of the San Bernardino terrorists without help from Apple. The Justice Department dropping its legal fight against the tech giant as the FBI says it was able to access the data with the help of a third party. In response, Apple saying, quote, "This case should never have been brought. We will continue to help law enforcement with their investigations, as we have done all along, and we will continue to increase the security of our products as the threats and attacks on our data become more frequent and more sophisticated." But while this case may be over, the constitutional and privacy issues it raises are not. Many legal experts say this is just kicking the can down the road and that eventually Congress may have to step in.
Will Congress require the companies to basically preserve a window of vulnerability in the technology, what some people call the back door? So very much that is the next big debate, which is not going to be about one phone. It's going to be about all phones, all computers.
All right, so here's my big question on this. Can Apple now legally request from the government for them to release how they hacked into this phone?
Well, yeah, they can certainly request it. I don't know if the government's going to be happy to play ball with them after they didn't help the government out.
Exactly.
See, there's no legal requirement that the government share information with them or anything like that. What happened was there was a policy between the government and tech companies that if the government found a security weakness, they would typically share it with the tech companies. The purpose being to close security weaknesses so hackers aren't cracking into our bank accounts and all these other.
But you agree, what a tangled weave this has web this has become, because now the government's in a position where they could significantly help out Apple, because the most important part of that statement that they released, Julie, was they're now going to build their background and their security. They're going to make those devices even more secure and safe to prevent this.
I mean, it's really kind of unbelievable chutzpah, right? First they ask Apple to help them do this. The Apple says no way. Then Apple all of a sudden says, wait a second, you figured out how to do this?
How'd you do
help
that?
us prevent you from doing this again.
I want them to know how. I don't want people hacking in my iPhone.
And so that to me is but that's what's so fascinating. Essentially, what Apple is asking is the government to help them create a device that the government would no longer in the future be able to help them
I think that's a great idea.
I mean, it's unbelievable. It just takes such an amount of chutzpah. It's incredible.
From a legal standpoint, I think that Apple was more likely to win the appeal than the government was.
Right.
I think that the constitutionally requiring a private company to build something, people said, oh, it's like just you have a warrant and making somebody open a door. No, this was you have a warrant and you say, I want you to give me a key that opens every lock in the world. That's a big difference.
Go back to the government's argument, Andrea, and the government's argument was you should do anything you can as a private company to help us solve a crime. But now if the government has the ability to hack into the phone, are they going to help local law enforcement around the country that has been asking the government to help hack into phones to solve crimes?
We're already talking about that, drug crimes and those kinds of things. And that's what's dangerous about this. It's impossible to create a program where you can just hack into one phone that can't be used for other phones. If it was just about one phone, there wouldn't be an argument here. It's about the fact that it's for all the phones. It's about the legal precedent.
But what Apple could have done for that one phone is could have said, look, we don't want this to develop a key because you can't keep things secret. They get out. So then terrorists have keys and they can hack into government phones and things like this. So Apple should have said, give us the phone. We'll maintain chain of custody. We will unlock it for you and we will give it back to you.
What do you think, Andrea? Did Apple make a mistake here?
No. And why are we focusing on Apple? Apple did absolutely the right thing. We are forgetting that the FBI essentially lied to us. They said they couldn't get into the phone. This is the story today. The Obama administration and the FBI came out and said, we have this cell phone that they screwed up initially. Remember, it was the FBI.
Hold on, but Andrea, we don't know by what means the government went about hacking into this phone. Word is that they tapped some foreign source to hack into this phone. Do we really want that for our private companies?
You're missing the biggest point. The FBI, the reason the FBI needed help getting into this phone is because they're the ones that reset the password and locked themselves out of the phone in the first place. It was an FBI error that did it.
But that doesn't mean that they shouldn't still ask Apple for help in getting in.
Why? If you're Apple, hang on a minute. If you're Apple, you're saying, whoa, 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 whoa. You guys can break into this phone. You break into phones all the time with forced breaks all the time. Apple knew that. So they're saying, why are we going to compromise our security, write code for a product that's ours? Why would they write code to hack into their own product? It never made sense to begin with. Apple has handled this brilliantly and beautifully, and this all from the get-go. was just a scheme by the administration to end all encrypted technologies. Now, the administration is going to have to find a whole new scheme to figure out how to hack into encrypted technology.
And I have to say,
it's about privacy. It's much bigger than what we're talking about on this couch.
I agree largely with a lot of what you said, because to me, from day one, that was so, it made completely no sense. How is it that the United States government and all of our collected intelligence agencies, allegedly the best in the world, are not able to hack into this phone?
I would love to keep this conversation going.
Outnumbered overtime.
Overtime. We'll get back to it. All right, staggering new numbers on the spread of terrorism worldwide and how much more lethal terrorists have become in just the past 5 years, and it's only getting worse. Is the Obama administration doing enough to fight this growing threat? Plus, Hillary Clinton blasting Republicans for not meeting with President Obama's Supreme Court nominee. But could we be seeing some cracks in the GOP wall of resistance?